Hey everyone, it's me, Sean Capri. A late at night little intro, so gotta tone it down just a little bit. Lincoln is about to go to sleep. How are you? Welcome to episode 152 of We the GamerCast. It comes to you every Monday on iTunes, Google Play, and mother-loving YouTube. And if you're new, here's the deal. Every week I have sweet hangs with the stranger from the internet, and if you want to be on the show, it's easy. Just tweet at me at Sean Capri. Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants. Thank you guys for subscribing and giving a thumbs up on the YouTube video at youtube.com/WeTheNerdy every Monday. Guys, we're gonna get right into it here because I just recorded last week's intro 5 minutes ago. So to be honest with you, not a whole lot has happened with me. Hopefully a lot of great things have happened with you in this weird time travel thing that we've got going on. But I want to quickly thank our amazing and amazing patrons over at patreon.com/makeusbetter. You guys are absolutely incredible. We're well into June when you're hearing this, and it's all thanks to you guys. We got video, we got people coming back as guests. We had an amazing E3 prediction show. It's all thanks to everybody at patreon.com/makeusbetter, like our platinum executive producers, Corey Hicks at twitch.tv/chicks_18, and Mr. Mark Moody at youtube.com/Mr. Moody Reviews. So glorious. Our gold executive producers, the guys from Quest for Pixels, Tony Baker and Sheldon Benedict, and all of our gentlemen executive producers, all holding hands, just swinging along, dancing together, because you're amazing and amazing. Dude 427, Martini Jean, Aaron Doherty, David Ray, Jesse Armstrong, Joel Brooks. Joel Brooks, he's here right in a second, and I just said his name because he's an amazing patron. James Johnson, Dr. Doom, Nick Milicia from Next Level Games, and Tim Aulph. I freaking so appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I can't spend enough time thanking you guys. I also, by now, maybe you got your thank you cards in the mail because they're out. Hopefully Canada Post doesn't send them out by now. Goodness gracious, I'm so sorry that had taken me forever, and I don't have great luck with the post office. I don't know if it's just me. Maybe it's just me. It's probably just me. Guys, last week, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Katie Berto. This week, amazing chat with Joel Brooks. Next week, Eric Green. We've got a whole bunch of stuff in the can. Been recording as many shows as freaking possible. So I thank you to Joel Brooks for his chat today. Thank you to Katie for last week. And thank you to Eric. You guys are going to hear that next week. And I'm on vacation, so I can't even tell you what's happening with me. I'm going to figure something out with Jason, so maybe we'll be able to do something on If We're a Nintendo and probably do the Xbox Drive with Dave, but we'll figure that out for another time. My guest this week, Joel Brooks, Joel, a.k.a. Falcon. What a nice young man. This is an all-Canadian episode of We the GamerCast coming right at you. Here he is, Joel Brooks. We got Lincoln a Jays hat, so Chelsea's always wanted to get into baseball. I love the mug. Oh, guys, okay, we're rocking and roll. We got a good mug, we've got a good hat, and we're all recording. Everything is looking good. How are you doing, man?
Oh, not bad, not bad. Had a good day today. Went out, had some breakfast with the family, and then went and picked out some flowers for the front garden.
Oh, little yard work.
Yeah, May 2-4. Got to get it all done.
Yeah, right. It's the long weekend, man. May long weekend is always, well, at least in Alberta, it's like it could be snowing or it could be like today. It's like absolutely gorgeous. So maybe after this, I think we're gonna head out. We're gonna do a day of maybe even like a sprinkler park.
Ooh.
Like even just kind of, we'll just throw Lincoln in and just see what happens.
Yeah, whatever.
It's warm enough and it's not deep enough to really cause any trouble, so everything should be fine.
Yeah, no, it's pouring out rain here. Like
oh no! Of course it is.
Yeah, we're at the flower shop and we're sitting there shopping for flowers, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's sprinkling. Oh, we'll be okay. And then it's just torrential downpour.
Oh man! And out of nowhere, right? Like not expected. Yeah. Like, oh, dang it. That's usually like my family all went camping this weekend and they planned this like forever ago. Like my mom and my dad and like my experience with May long weekend camping is like not so good. Like I usually just freeze my ass off, and especially now with like Lincoln, like I don't really want to test that. So we'll go like Canada Day weekend. I think that's probably the next long weekend, and we'll go camping out in the mountains and stuff. So
yeah, we kind of put camping on the back burner now. It's a little more difficult with 3 children than opposed to 1.
Isn't everything more difficult with 3 kids?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Was three always part of the plan for you guys?
I think, well, for me, 0 was part of the plan, and then my wife was like, "Hey, maybe we should have some kids." Okay. So 2 was for sure, and then the third one was kind of like, "Hey, maybe we should try for another one." Yeah, we'll see. Why not? We had some difficulty with all 3, like conceiving all 3 of them. So it was kind of, the third one was like, all right, well, it's been a year and a half. Like, we're starting to get almost 30 years old. Like, do we really want to be, like old people having kids? Not really. And then it was, okay, well, we're going to stop this date. And it was like the week before the date we were going to say, okay, we're done. And I was like, hey, I'm not sure if this dollar store test is correct or not, but it says I'm pregnant. And I'm like, 1 more week, really? But
well, that's hilarious because that's what Chelsea used for this pregnancy right now. Like, I don't know why she's like, I don't think that is possible. I don't think that I'm pregnant. So, like, don't want to spend a whole lot of money on a pregnancy test, which is baffling to me. But she also heard in her mom's groups that, like, the dollar store ones are just as good. And I'm sure they are. And obviously, this one was right. So she got it. She took 2 of them and they both said positive. And she's like, I still don't believe it. So I'm going to go get a legit one from Costco or wherever, from Rexall or something like that. And then, yeah, sure enough. And then I think she's still, like, this one was very weird because she just, like, the whole way along, both of us were like, it's not sinking in. Like, something isn't, like, connecting with us, that this is legit. And that the second that second line shows up, it should be, like, that's the deal. Like, that's the moment you always see on, like, TV and everything where people start to freak out and they're like, didn't hit us.
I mean, once you've done it the first time, right? I think the first time is, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? I have no idea what's going on. And then the second time around, it's like, okay, yeah, we know what we're doing. This is what's going to happen. We're going to go in. The parents are going to come watch, the older child, and then we'll go and do our thing, and then just come home, and then you're done with it, right? So there's not really the element of unknown. Right.
Well, yeah, and the first time we didn't even rely on those tests either. Like, so Chelsea was under, like, she was taking some treatment to help things along and stuff. So she wasn't, like, using the pregnancy test at all. Like, she was constantly going in for testing and blood tests and stuff and just checking in to see how she goes. And then all of a sudden she gets this call that says, like, okay, so your levels are blah, 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 blah. And she's like, wait a minute. Like, that's like, those levels mean pregnant. And she's like, oh, and that's how she found out. Like, the person who called was like, it was totally by accident. So it was like the real deal coming, like, basically from the horse's mouth. Just like, this is 100% accurate. We're, like, looking at the blood test rather than, I don't know, maybe that's why that was the first time that we actually had to, like, really trust the pee stick.
Yeah.
Like, how does that work?
Yeah, I don't even know how they came up with that. Whose idea was it? Okay, guys, we're going to package this together, and we're going to get women all over the world peeing on this stick.
That's the best way to do it. Yep. I don't know, man. I wonder about that with most things. Like, how did people think of? I don't even know. Like, video games. How did people think about just like, well, we've been using this box for, like, TVs this whole time, but now we're gonna make Mario jump up and down. And I guess you can kind of, like, look back at the iterations and stuff. But it's just like, innovation just always blows my mind. For somebody to be the first person to think, I think we should do this, or, like, we should tell stories within games. They're not just like, it's not just Pong, but, like, they can be more like movies and stuff. I'm actually curious. Like, I know there's a giant Nintendo connection for you, but I'm curious, like, where did games start with you, Joel?
So for me, it started back in, I think it was like 1990. I was about 5. And my
same
aunt
age.
and uncle,
Yeah, we're good, Joel. Yeah.
So my aunt and uncle, they were pretty well off. Like, my uncle had a really good factory job. He was making quite a bit of money at the time, and he had just got some inheritance money from his father-in-law passing away. So the first thing he thought of doing was going and buying me a regular Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
So
I always call it regular Nintendo 2. Is that a thing?
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I don't feel like I hear too many people say that. But yeah, regular Nintendo, because there's always against Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
So you're just regular Nintendo. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Oh, that's good. So I got my regular Nintendo, and it had the Duck Hunt Mario combo on that one with the light gun. And then it was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game. Mm-hmm. And I really wanted nothing to do with Mario at all. I was not interested in that at all. It was the game that my mom would play all the time. Like I just all the time she'd be on the. I have to fight her to get some of my Ninja Turtle time in there because she was obsessed with it because
Really?
I don't know I don't know which world it was, but there's a world where you're going up to the flag and there's that turtle coming down the stairs, and she figured out if you jump on the turtle at the right time, you just continuously jump on the turtle.
Oh yeah, you get lives. Yeah.
Yeah, it gives you the infinitive lives or whatever. It's like Castle 9 for lives, and yeah, so she would be obsessed with that. But me, I'd love the Ninja Turtles because it was like, sounds stupid. I'm like, this is just like the cartoon on TV that I watch.
Right.
Meanwhile, going back and looking at it now, I'm like, wow, this is this is pretty horrible.
Yeah, man.
But
It had to have been one of those things, and somebody knows this better than me, that it must have been like a different game, and then they just like they did that all the time. Like it was made to be something else, and like we'll throw the Ninja Turtles on top of it. Like where did half of those enemies come from?
I have no idea.
All you needed was your character select, and then the music, and then that was it.
Yeah.
And especially for the first one, like I didn't play the second one all too much.
So the first, I played the arcade version first, and then I went back and played the original with like the dam from hell or whatever you want to call it. So I played that one, and I'm like, this game sucks.
Back then, you said that, or recently?
Oh yeah, no, like back then I was like, this is garbage. This isn't Ninja Turtles. Like this is stupid. I got to go to some overworld and then try and go over here, and I can't use my favorite. I can't use Michelangelo because he sucks. I have to use Donatello because he has the stupid pole. And then I was like, no, just give me my other one. It's awesome color, good music, has like little animated animated stills.
Oh yeah, yeah, and bigger sprites too. We actually had we had a crappy port of the NES game on computer. So like we weren't. I mentioned before weren't allowed to have consoles. So anytime there was like any form of ports over to PC, like there was a crappy Street Fighter 2 port that we had, but like for some reason like the feet were all weird. Like nobody's feet looked right. And then we had a Mortal Kombat port, and we're playing everything with keyboard. So we had like this giant keyboard, like this 386 PC that we had back then. Would those have run on probably 386, because we skipped from 386 to Pentium. But anyways, remember Pentium? Okay. Holy crap! I haven't said that word in like forever.
The very first laptop that I ever remember seeing in my house, it was probably about like 19 inches long.
Monster.
And the screen was probably about the size of a calculator.
Of course.
And it was all like the Tiger handheld graphics on. It was like green back screen with like black on it, and I was like, what is this? Like, oh, it's a laptop. This is a computer in my house? Oh my gosh. Like at that point I was only ever used to using computers at the school playing different animation games on it, right? Because I never owned, the only PC I owned up until recently was my Commodore 64.
Wow.
So I was never a PC player, right? So I play like Minesweeper or was it Pinball for Windows?
Yes, Pinball. Holy crap! Yeah, man. Holy cow! Is it something that like tempts you now? Like this is something that like I have a PC. It's pretty capable. Like I definitely need a better video card, and I'm sort of like, I don't know, man. Like it's good enough, and I have a bunch of Steam games on it because I'm stupid, because I buy games that I have like no real plan. Like there's no real chance of really getting to, and yet still I'm like, maybe it's just because I need to spend $500 or $600 on a video card. Like that doesn't make any sense. Are you like, how laser focused in gaming are you? Are you distracted? Like I'm very distracted by all the different things, but I'm curious on your take on that.
No, I got ADD, so I don't usually stick with one game for too long. I have about 30 games on my Switch, and I think I played 4.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, okay, we're the same.
So, and then I just recently got a gaming laptop. I went ahead and I was like, okay, I'm getting this. This is happening. Let's do it.
This is not going to help me, I don't think.
No. So I went and got it, and then I'm looking and I'm like, oh my god, these games are so cheap.
Yeah,
why,
man.
Like, how come I can buy these games for like $9 and over here they're like $35? This is amazing. So I go ahead, I buy some games, and I'm like, I haven't played them.
Right.
I played Fortnite. I got that one for free, so I downloaded that. I played a few rounds of that, and I really like the mouse and keyboard. Yep. I'm not as proficient in it as I am with my controller yet, but I went out and I was playing with, I had like a regular, like a 2-button mouse, and I'm like playing Fortnite with it. I'm like, yeah, this isn't going to cut it. I need more buttons. So
right.
I did a quick Google search, and I'm like, oh, there's ones with like all like MMO mouses and all like they have like 20 keys on them and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I really need one of those.
This is why the games are so cheap, because you spend a fortune on everything else. But so that's the thing, man. Like I did the exact same thing. I'm still distracted. I have a gaming keyboard that I won from the Mega Dads. Unfortunately, the mouse doesn't work, guys. I don't know if you guys knew that, but the mouse doesn't work. But I'm always tempted, man, by all the like the latest like gadgets and stuff. And PC, it's never ending.
Yeah, no. So my friend was really into World of Warcraft before he had children, and then now he has no time to play it. So he's like, yeah, I went out and I bought this keyboard where you can actually like attach other parts to this keyboard to give you more keys. And he's like, I just want to tell you, beware, because you're going to go down a rabbit hole, and there's no end to the rabbit hole. You're just going to find more stuff to buy for the PC. And then I spend more time just looking for stuff to buy for the PC instead of like playing on it. So, but I found a whole bunch of cool, free, different free games that I found in there. There's this game I've been playing. It's pretty addicting. I mean, it's kind of janky, but it reminds me of CS:GO.
Oh, I never got into CS:GO. I always played Counter-Strike like way back in the day, like Team Fortress 2, like the Half-Life mod.
So I don't know if it's just because I'm old and crotchety, but I really hate sprinting in my first-person shooters. I don't know if it's because I'm so used to not having running. So I guess they call it like slower pace, but I kind of enjoy those ones. And in this game, you can only sprint for like 5 seconds at a time. So it's not like infinite sprint. And then also too, like if you're sprinting and there's something to jump over, it just automatically jumps it for you. So, and then they have like, I mean, it's free to play, but then you can go ahead and buy like different crates to get upgrades for different guns and stuff like that. But it's pretty fun. It's definitely opened up the world of PC gaming to me, whereas before I was just kind of console.
Oh man! So how long have you had this now? When did you pick it up?
I got it about a month ago, and I think I have like 25
And you're like locked in, dude. Like it sounds like the way you're talking, it sounds like you've had this thing since like Christmas or something, at least.
Yeah, no, it has me.
So, as we are approaching E3, like, does this change how you approach E3, or has it maybe even not specifically E3, but like your gaming content intake? Like, are you reaching out like in terms of podcasts or websites, or how else have you gotten into the world of PC gaming, or is it just like with your friends who are into it?
I don't play with anybody online, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I just kind of I play online, but I don't really play with a group of people.
Yeah.
So usually, like my main focus for E3 this year is Nintendo, and then I got some stakes in Xbox. Gonna have my Xbox One S.
Yeah.
So that one with the Game Pass just has me hooked, because I find myself just like an hour goes by and I'm just like scrolling through. Oh, do I want to play this game? Okay, well let me check out the trailer for this. So I spend more time checking out which games I want to get on Game Pass than playing them, and it's a vicious cycle. I'm like, I gotta play more games. And then I get on there to play, and I'm like, oh, but look at this sale. Oh,
I know. I do the same thing. Okay, so but that thing, the whole like flipping through the games and like spending more time flipping through than actually playing it, I feel like that more than anything makes it so similar to Netflix. Like more than the subscription service, more than all the games that are available or movies that are available, it's the activity that you actually never end up watching anything, or in this case playing anything. That it's like, oh yeah, they nailed it. It's exactly the same thing. Perfect service.
Yeah, I love my Xbox. Like I started off with. I think back in the day, my friend had an Xbox, and that's when I seen Halo for the first time, and I'm like, oh, it's not Nintendo, but okay, well, hang on, let me see.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, it was like $700. I'm like, oh my god.
I know, right?
I'm like, my parents will never buy this for me. I barely got them to buy me my Nintendo 64.
But you would have been getting to the age maybe where like you could mow some lawns or something. Like, 'cause if we're about the same age, then that would have been because like my family was ridiculous, because my parents had 4 kids. They weren't paying for any of our college, so they're like, you guys are getting a job at like 8. Like we started delivering flyers when I was in grade 3. So by the time the Xbox came around, like we had some extra cash for that, so my brother and I kind of pitched, and so we each spent $350 to buy this freaking Xbox, dude.
And it was so great. Like you get the Duke controller. You're like, man, this thing's so big, but it feels so good. And it's nice and it's heavy, and you actually feel like you're holding something.
The other thing people forget too. I'm sorry to keep cutting you off here, but I love this discussion here, because the thing that people forget is like, yes, the Duke was massive, but look at the 64 controller that we were just holding a second ago. Like it seemed like instead of like the Zoolander phones getting smaller and smaller, like controllers were getting bigger and bigger from the Super Nintendo to the 64 to the Xbox and Dreamcast. Even like we were getting used to large controllers.
Yeah. No, well, for sure, definitely. But like even like the triggers on it, and then the white and black button to turn your flashlight on and off, and Halo and stuff. It was so. It kind of that's where it started. Xbox 360 is where like it really sunk its claws into me.
Yeah, man.
And it was just that whole generation. Like I had my Wii for Mario Galaxy, but honestly, it was mostly for just Wii bowling.
Nice.
I was addicted to that game. That game was so much fun. Like we would play. I'd go over to my parents' house. We played. And, like my dad, he's older. And that's all he wanted to do is like, hey, do you want to play Wii Sports?
Oh, I love it. He would actually bring it up. That's amazing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so he'd go, and I remember one time we were playing baseball, and my dad didn't get the concept that like it was just, hey, Dad, just flick your wrist, it's okay. No, he's in the living room, full baseball.
My dad too.
So they had a small living room. So my mom got up to go eat a drink or something, and my dad swung the bat and he punched her right in the boob.
Oh,
it was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Smokes her.
Just no, yeah. Yeah, there's no holding back. It was just full force.
Well,
but yeah,
my dad's really funny too because we played tennis, so he did like the whole motion. I think sometimes when you just have really no idea about video games or technology, like it's funny to see some people don't really understand, like they've got to do a particular thing to make the thing on the screen do the thing that you wanted it to do. And then the other side of it is you think that like that game is counting on you to do absolutely everything. And that was my dad. So we were playing tennis, and of course little me's like they bop around on their own. My dad thinks it's him doing it. So he's like moving around like the living room and stuff. Like he's moving and he's doing like the whole, like, you just have to like flick it up to serve it and then you spike it down. Like he's got the fake ball in his hand and he's throwing it up and he's looking at it and he's just like the whole thing. So I'm surprised we didn't end up with like a controller through the TV. I can't believe that wasn't us.
Well, maybe they thought there was more technology in that sensor bar than there was.
Pretty much, yeah.
No, the sensor bar needs to see me do this.
They would have loved the Kinect, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah. Well, it kind of reminds me of, like, when you would press harder on the B button to
of course.
Punch harder. So I think that's maybe it was like the opposite for them. Right? If I swing the remote harder, maybe it'll give it that little extra.
Absolutely. And it's like, actually, when you bring it when you mention it that way, like, it's not even like we were thinking about it. Like you just found yourself like wanting to try and get more out of it. So you're just like, not that you're like press hard to like punch harder. You're just like, you're into it. And it's just like something, it's subconscious what ends up happening. Oh man, the Wii days were awesome. So like,
they were fun.
Were you mostly like, because of Halo, like were you mostly into the shooters on the 360, or like what's your breadth of gaming on the 360?
So 360, it was, we started off with Halo 3. And then we moved on to Halo Reach. Call of Duty 3.
Yeah,
was
wow.
That was one of the big ones. It was like that. Was it like the capture the flag mode or domination or whatever the game mode was called? That game got it. Like that game was so much fun, and it was so like that was the first game I found myself actually wanting to throw the controller to.
Oh man,
because
no kidding.
Like we would still get together for LAN parties with all of our Xboxes.
Oh, I love it.
And we'd have the big projector at my friend's house, and then we'd have somebody who'd bring over their, we'd have like 4 or 5 different giant TVs, so we need like 4 guys just to carry the TV into the house. Mm-hmm. So we'd all get in there, we start playing Domination, and my one friend, he was head and shoulders above all of us with Call of Duty, so he could just, every time headshot, we'd be
not even fair.
No, and at that point it was not fair. So it'd always be, I think you're doing good, and then all of a sudden you just get shot, and it was rage.
Yeah, you got to put at least another like 600 hours into it, obviously.
Yeah. So I think after about 4 hours of just getting headshotted, it was like, oh hey guys, let's play. We should play some swords on Halo.
Oh.
Maybe some rockets.
Mm-hmm. Oh, rockets are the best, man. In pretty much any first-person shooter game, you just because like that brings me back to the days of like GoldenEye. And like, because those modes, it seemed to me like that was one of the most in-your-face ways of like doing the different modes. I don't know, maybe that's just the way that I experienced it. It seemed like every time we did it, we're like, let's change it up. And maybe, actually, I landed on it. Thank you for letting me babble for a little bit. Once you play a game enough, then you start to like search for, I need a different way. I still like this game a lot, but I need something different. So you start to do like slappers only and one-shot kill in GoldenEye.
Or you throw a paintball mode in there.
Oh, the cheats were so good. Like, why has that not
I
continued
don't know why
on,
that's not
man?
a thing anymore.
Like,
See,
where you
now they
beat,
would
like,
probably
it's
charge
tied
you.
into your achievement system. Like, that's all that was. It was like it was such a great achievement system where as you beat the levels on various difficulty levels, like they would, or like the facility, I remember, was like this crazy one. You beat the facility in like 2 minutes, and you get, I can't remember what you got from that, but like, how the hell do you do that? You have to find Dr. Doak. You have to be, Dr. Doak has to be in the right spot. And I don't know, shout out to anybody else who knows what the hell I'm talking about. Dr. Doak is the dude that you have to speak to, and then he's actually implanted in. Anyway, nobody knows what I'm talking about. Maybe Jacob Rush. Hi, Jacob. Speaking of Jacob, man, I feel like I find you in all the communities. I find like anytime I go discover like a new podcast or something to go listen to, it's like, oh, well, Joel's writing for Quest for Pixels or he's writing into this show or that show. Like, how does that happen? Where does your entry into like all of this happen? Let me get, is it Nintendo Dads? It's always Nintendo Dads. Damn it, Nintendo Dads.
So it was, so my third son was born. And my wife had the opportunity to go get a new position at her current job, so she'd have to go back early. So I actually got to take 6 months of parental leave.
Wow.
So and it was the good months too, because he's already passed the feet, up all night, whatever. It was the last 6 months, so he was pretty much okay. He's just going to lay there, and then he's going to sleep, and then he's going to sleep all night.
Yep.
So
sleeping,
I have a giant gap during my day, and I'll just make it sound like I'm really busy. So I was like, well, you know what? None of my other friends really like playing video games anymore. They're all too old or have no time for it. So I was like, all right, well, let's turn to the internet, see if I can't find other people who are interested in this. And I end up searching Nintendo on podcasts on my iPhone, and it was Nintendo Dads that came with. So it was like Nintendo
no way.
Dads, NVC. So I started off there, and then through them kind of having different guests on every week. And I think it was actually like, oh, hey, there's this other Canadian Nintendo Dads, and it was you.
Oh, no way!
Yep. And then from you, it was Bobby, and then just from there, it kind of snowballed, and now it's just everybody.
Once you hit Bobby, it's like this cannonball, and just like to everybody else. It's been nuts, man. So how old is your third old? So how, like, give me a sense of like how long ago was this? Maybe 2-3 years ago? No, about 2 years ago I would have been on there.
Yeah. So about years this February that just passed.
Time flies, man. That's nuts to think about that it was 2 years ago that I was like, oh, the Nintendo Dads are gonna have me on, and now it's kind of like no, it's like, oh my goodness, you guys record for like 6 hours into like well into the night. It is nuts, man, and those guys do it every week.
Yep. Yeah, that's great. I don't know. That's the whole mountain. The whole Mountain Standard Time that throws me off too. And I'm like,
it throws me off, man. I can't even do it. Like, Zach stayed up until God knows what time, and it's even later for Marty, and then it's like into the morning for Justin and everything. God, I love those guys. God bless the Nintendo Dads. Yeah. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, so that's how.
Okay. So because like I'm starting to see, like, I was just over at questforpixels.com, and it's like article here written by Joel Brooks, article over here written by Joel Brooks. So like, where does the writing come from, man? Look at you, you're like an auteur is not the right word. You're I don't know. You're writing a lot. Where does that come from? Where does the creative muscle come from?
I just like talking about video games in general. So like, for me, like, I tried to talk to my wife about it, and she just kind of like, oh yeah, that's nice. Okay, that's your thing. Okay. So I mean, thankfully I have somebody who lets me go ahead and do what I'm passionate about, even though they could really not care less about it. It makes me happy. So
it's self-serving for them though too, right? It's kind of like, just leave me alone with that stuff. Like, I just can't fake it. And like, even Chelsea loves video games, clearly. Like, this is a lot of her stuff behind me. And even so, like, I'll talk to her about like, oh, in State of Decay, and like we were doing this thing, and she's like, I don't know. Zombie games, just no. So like, she really likes to like just let this be my outlet. But then I'm like, I don't know if I have anything else to talk about. I just kind of want to talk about that.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
And I find it was Quest for Pixels started. They started streaming, and I'd go over, hang out, chat with them in their chat, play some Splatoon or Mario Kart or whatever they're playing. Mm-hmm. And then it was just one night, Tony had said something that, hey, maybe you should come and do something for Quest for Pixels. And at that time, I kind of stopped doing some of my videos that I was doing. I just kind of wasn't feel like I just kind of I didn't want to do that anymore.
Because you were doing Nintendo Family Gaming. Is that
Yep.
was what that was part of? Yeah.
Yep. So I hit kind of a rough patch around Christmas where I was having some problems with my like depression, and so I got like really deep down. Dark. I didn't want to do anything that I liked. I didn't want to talk to anybody. Didn't want to do anything, and I just kind of had given up on it because I don't know why, but I just kind of stopped doing that, and I just was like, all right, well, you know what? I'll just listen to my podcast, chat with some people. I don't need to do anything. There's too much going on.
Yeah, man.
And then there, Tony and Sheldon like, oh hey, maybe you should come do something for Quest for Pixels, and I'm like, no. And then kind of we got offline, and I was sitting there having a drink, and I'm like, hey, you know what? Maybe it would be nice to do something. So I had messaged him like, hey, yeah, okay, whatever you want me to do.
Good for you, man, for coming up to that realization that it would be good. Because sometimes when you're in that place, like, it's just you come up with absolutely every reason not to do it. And when you're overwhelmed and there's so much going on, you're like, I can't take on anything else, even though that's the one thing that would be like so joyous and awesome and exciting and new and everything. So I'm really impressed that like even in that moment you're like, maybe this would be good for me.
Yeah. So and then they're like, all right, well, you have free reign, do whatever you want, write articles, do reviews, whatever. So I'm like, okay, let me give it a shot. Mm-hmm. And I really didn't think I'd be good at it because school was not my thing. It was not. I had difficulty reading, writing, whatever. And then it was, okay, well, let me give this a shot. And then I did it, and I was like, hey, you know what? I'm not bad at it. I'm not the greatest, but at least it's something, right? We'll start here, work on it. And then, so they kind of gave me the outlet that I needed. Like fall back in love with like writing and being creative with video games. So I appreciate it. So I make sure I try and get something up there at least once a day for him. There's always
Holy crap, every day. I'm just realizing everybody heard that little beep. Skinny Matt, I'm really sorry. You heard that beep. I'm not going to take that out of there. But that beep right now is now Joel seeing me for the first time. I just realized that my camera hadn't been plugged in this entire time. So that's why.
I just thought you weren't wearing any pants.
No, well, I mean, maybe later.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, it's sort of 50-50. And I was taking care of Lincoln this morning, and I made the mistake of wearing sweats around him because he's doing the whole climbing up my legs thing.
Oh, no.
So like the pants start to come down a little bit. Like that's why I'm gonna have to just be a grown up and not wear pajamas all day long and just actually get dressed on the weekends. But I'm coming around to it.
My daughter's like, "Are you gonna wear clothes, Daddy?" I'm like, "Yes, honey. I'm gonna wear clothes on the podcast."
Well, I have to run two cameras off, so I have one recording and then I've got one for Discord. So that's why, like, everything on my end is like totally fine. But you're like, that's very kind of you. You didn't even mention it. You're just like, so like, are you just not gonna like show your face or anything like that? That's so Canadian of you.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
I love that Canadians are taking over Quest for Pixels. Maybe I'll jump over there and I don't know how you're doing an article a day, man.
Yeah, no, it's just I really enjoy it, and I find it's kind of it's that one thing that I could just kind of decompress and sit there and just do that. Mm-hmm. So it's really therapeutic to me, I guess. Is that
where the Falcon comes from?
Yeah, so that's thanks to Tony. He came up with that nickname, and it's kind of stuck.
It's awesome. Like, what is it? I love falcons, by the way. My dad is obsessed with like peregrine falcons, and they like build nests on the side of like buildings and stuff. Anyway, he made me do like reports as a kid on these things all the time. And
my son loves them. He got to hold a peregrine falcon when we were at African Lion Safari.
Get out of here!
Yeah, so we were sitting front row, and the falconer or whatever the dude's name is that controls all the birds.
Yeah,
was like, hey, do you wanna come? He's like, okay. So he put the glove on, and he was maybe 3 or 4 at the time, and like the glove goes all the way up to his armpit.
Of course,
he's sitting there, and the bird comes, eats a piece of meat or whatever. It was the coolest thing ever.
Dude, what are the chances I bring up like, well, falcons, I guess is part of your name, but like, what a random bird. I don't know. Yep. Are they that popular? Like, I don't know. I feel like this is a moment.
I don't know. I felt funny because my high school was the Fort Erie Falcons.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we had this giant like falcon mascot at the the football games and pep rallies and different stuff
man.
like that. So we were playing, was it Salmon Run? The one night we were playing. And then it was, you have to go and rescue, your teammates or whatever. And
I still haven't done that.
He had said something about, me swooping in to save him or something. And he came up with the Falcon. I said, yeah, okay. I said, under the shadow of the Falcon's wings, everybody is protected.
So good, dude. I definitely need to find a picture of a Falcon for the thumbnail on this show.
He had actually made one of a soldier with like Falcon wings coming out of it and put like a Falcon beak on my face, and the Falcon's running with a M16.
Oh wow!
So, yeah, he was into it. And then a funny story after that is we were talking afterwards, and he's like, "I gotta come up with an awesome animal name for Sheldon," and he's like, "What about the Barracuda?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah," and then so he's like, "What's a barracuda?" I'm like, do you know what a barracuda is? So I sent him a picture, and it was a fish. He's like, "I thought it was some sort of marsupial."
Oh, what?
I'm like, no.
Marsupial.
Yeah, he's like, "I thought it was like a marsupial."
No, barracuda is what kills like Nemo's family, man.
Yeah, that's
barracudas are vicious. It's a good animal. It's a good animal to pick. Chelsea and I were scuba diving on our honeymoon, and we were just swimming around. And I suck at scuba diving, man. I can't even get down to basically like 5 feet. Basically, like if I guess almost 6 feet. If my toes and I'm vertical and my toes are now like completely submerged, which means like the entire like height of my body is underwater. My ears are going crazy. I can't hold my breath that long. I feel like I feel like I've gone like 100 feet. But I've really just gone not far at all. I'm bumping into everything, and then we see this barracuda like way off in the distance, and we both kind of like both look at it, and then we look at each other. And we go like, "Do you want to go up?" And we're like, "Was that a bear? Should we like leave now? Because that was the most. It's just like still, but it could just attack at any moment, just like Sheldon Benedict."
That's true.
Anyway, that was a tangent. Why? So did he land on barracuda? Is that so? Once he found out what it was, is he still a barracuda?
No, I don't know. I think the animal name stopped at me, so I don't know. I feel I'm like, oh yeah, I'm the Falcon, and everybody else is just Tony and Sheldon.
I always think about like a shell. Like when I hear Sheldon, like I had a good friend growing up. He had the Super Nintendo. My friend Sheldon White. Hi Sheldon. I always thought of a turtle, but that's not what you're going for. I don't think in this case. Well, maybe a Ninja Turtle.
Maybe, I don't know. You got Ninja Turtle. You got those. Mm-hmm. And the tortoise and the hare. That's about all the cool.
Yeah, that guy kicked ass.
Cool
man.
turtle stories.
Yeah, yep. just cool confidence. That's what the Sheldon turtle is all about. Adam Leonard needs to draw all of us as anthropomorphic podcast animals.
His utopia.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Or like a Star Fox kind of thing. If he could just put us all in our own crap, our wings. Why am I doubting that? It's our wings, right? That they fly. Star Fox, fly. Anyway, moving on. I want that, Adam. I'm gonna generate all the Patreon money, and I'm gonna put it towards everybody. Actually, the one thing I still need to get him to do is player cards. I'm gonna bring this up every 6 months. I want I want tradable cards, and we'll all have like stats on the back and everything, like
awesome.
Power and strength.
Have like our own card game. Everybody makes their different decks, the different podcasts.
Yes. Yeah, different and different starter packs you could get. You could have like the Flex-to-Pose starter pack or the Quest for Pixel starter pack. Yeah. Nintendo Dads. That'd be amazing.
I was hooked on card games in high school. It was Yu-Gi-Oh was my card game. Was my card game of choice. And we used to get stuff thrown at us in the cafeteria because we were sitting there playing these trading
nerds.
Yeah. So
were you playing Risk? Did you ever play Risk?
No, I never played Risk. That's one of the games I haven't actually played.
Never. Not even now.
No, never. I actually bought. Was it Star Wars Episode 2, like the Clone Troopers edition of
oh my god
Risk, and it was $2, and I'm like, okay, well, I bought it at a yard sale.
Sounds about right.
And I get home, I open it up, and everything is still untouched. Like it's still like all the cardboard pieces are still in the perforated cardboard and everything. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna play this one day, and then it just never happens.
Speaking of artwork, what's behind you there? Like you got an absolutely gorgeous like Mario like mural or something over there.
Yep. Hang on a second.
Holy crap, dude!
Yeah. So that's my It's my Japanese Mega Man. And then I
Oh
got
my gosh.
So that picture is actually when you get a picture from Nintendo, like if you do like a survey or something, right? It tells you, it says thank you, and it's that picture. That's the picture right there.
No way.
Yep. And then I got all the stuff in front of me that you can't even see. Different toys.
It all looks so good, man. Like I just have a whole bunch of just random crap here, but that's like, I don't know. It's laid out nicely. You've got your shells with your amiibos and everything.
Yeah, they all need a specific spot. And that's, I mean, I have to say thank you to my wife because she puts up with that kind of stuff.
How is it with kids? You need to give me advice here because Lincoln is rolling around, but I don't want him to like eat any of this stuff.
Yeah, no. So I think for me, I just kind of teach my kids, all right, don't touch it.
That's the answer I wanted to hear. Thank you. That's possible. Amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So I just leave everything. I mean, there are some trying times, right? So I mean, there is. Like, and then you get kids that come over and they don't know, don't touch. Like, I mean, I'm not anal about it. Like, if the kids want to touch something, play with something, sure, go ahead, right? Like,
it might be electrified, but yeah, find out.
Yeah, like my daughter, she likes playing. Like, she likes playing with the amiibos.
Oh yeah.
So I actually did a video of amiibo theater, and she was like playing and like made a whole story with the amiibos and stuff like that. But it was one time a friend of mine came over, and I had my. Special edition collector's series of Ninja Turtle DVDs. So it's the complete animated series in a party wagon.
Oh yeah, so, I sent that over to Andrew Semicek from We the Nerdy. He's a huge fan.
Okay.
And I just had come across it. I'm like, I don't think I need this, so I wanted to show some appreciation, but also like re-gift it to him. But I know exactly what you're talking about. I've actually held it in my hands. Yeah, so
they should have had something where it like locks in or something because the lid just comes like top of it just comes off. And there's no each disc isn't like in like flimsy like Wii Sports cardboard sleeve thing. They're all, it's just like a foam thing and they all slide in. Well, my son's my friend's son grabbed it from the top of it and was like, oh good, it rolls and everything like a toy.
It looks like a toy.
So, so he grabbed it and it fell. And that was when we had just moved into this place and there's no carpet on the basement floor. So like all the discs just like spill everywhere. And it was in that moment I was like, I like had a panic attack and I wanted to like yell, but I'm like, okay guys, let's just move away from all the DVDs here. I'm good. Do not touch them, please. Don't pick them up because you're gonna move them and scratch them. And it was, but yeah, it was that. I was like, okay, guys, let's just play something else now.
What a good dad moment, man. I don't think that I naturally have that. I mean, that's a muscle I'm going to have to work out a little bit. I'm going to have to practice and stretch that a little bit. That reaction of just like, what the? And just, nope. So pull back, bottle it up inside.
I mean, you don't really learn this skill until a child 2.5.
Yeah.
So it took like at first I was like really, oh my God, don't touch it. If something happens, like, what are you doing? No, it's okay.
Yeah.
Their kids are going to touch stuff. So I just do my best to make sure that nothing of extreme value is down where they can touch it.
I did notice that all your like the good ones are like, what are those, like 7 or 8 feet up in the air? So like on the shelves up there, they're probably safe for a little while.
I mean, like, and then my kids, they like playing with this one.
Oh, is that the Mega Yarn? I can't tell size. Oh my goodness, he is. That's so expensive, dude. Yeah, so that one I got Toys R Us, so I don't got a Toys R Us in my town. One town over, it's about like a 40-minute drive. So we were there, and it was my son had just a couple months after, so we're going to Babies R Us, and thankfully they have the Toys R Us right next door. And in the flyer, it was like Mega Yarn Yoshi Amiibo limited stock. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm like, yeah, for sure. Yeah, you want to go to Babies R Us? Yeah, we'll go to Babies R Us. No problem. We'll get whatever you want. This is fine. And like, I find myself like starting to get like this angst in me when I pull up in the parking lot. I'm like, I'm getting all pumped up. My heart's racing.
I know. What is that?
I have to stop myself from running through the parking lot. And I'm like, my wife's like, why are you walking so fast? I'm like, no reason.
Can't help it.
Yeah. So I get in there and I accidentally, because the car seat carrier we had was like, it didn't fit inside of the cart. So it was like, I had to click it into like the seat where the child would actually sit. So I click him in there, make sure he's safe. And then I'm going, well, I can't, like my view's all obstructed, right? So this lady had let her 3-4-year-old child just like walking in the store. I almost take this child out on my way, like power
Pushing
walking
kids out of the way.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm like, this is mine. Just grab it. And I'm like, all right, we're good.
And then you realize like all the like irrational stuff you just done for the last like 5 minutes, like run really fast and like your heart's racing, and it's like I've been there too, man. Like where like especially if you go to like a con, like Comic-Con or something like that, and like especially Comic-Con, there's not a lot of stuff there because I'm not really into comics. I just love like nerdisms, but every now and then there's this. As soon as it's limited, like if I went in line for Hallmark had limited edition like ornaments for your Christmas tree. Yep. And, like, I know my dad loves those things. Like, he's a huge, huge fan of that. And I wanted to get it for him so badly. And I just found, like, we got there, like, right at the start. We were actually there early. And as soon as the doors open, I'm like, we just, as human beings, I think, just have this weird, like, we just turn into just animals when, like, we want something and somebody else, like, if there's no order. Thank God for, like, society, because we would just continue to just rip each other apart.
Then you have that remorse afterwards, and I'm like, oh my god, I feel like a junkie. Like, oh my god, I heard what's going on. Why was I acting like this? I don't know why I was acting like this. Meanwhile, the shelf over here is just completely stocked with these yard Yoshis, and I'm like, that was irrational.
Yeah, like it was totally fine. But also, so it's this conflict where you're recognizing that was real silly, but also you got the reward of getting the thing that you wanted. So in a way, like you're just sort of like reinforcing that. So it'll probably happen again. Yeah, and so like, it was just... what did that lead you to just buying it, not even thinking about it? Because like I had a similar story with that, and I'm like, I didn't know that it was there. I didn't have the flyer part of the story, but Chelsea and I just kind of like going to Toys R Us anyways, and we just saw it, and I was just like, my eyes were wide, and I ran over to it, and I grabbed it, and I just like didn't even think, and I went over to the counter to pay for it, and it's like, oh, that's like $70, and I'm like, I just don't know if I need it that bad, and I don't usually, because I don't know if like it's a shy thing or what, but like usually I'll just buy it and I'll be like, maybe I'll just take it back later. But like it's very rare, because it's embarrassing, I guess, to go like, oh, that's a lot of money that I don't want to spend on it, and I put it back, and I feel like that was my first step of like, maybe I can manage this amiibo thing, but really I can't. I mean, look at.
Yeah, no, it was. There's a dark time for buying. I found myself going to my local Walmart every day, and like they're okay when they're like $10 a piece, and they bumped them to $15 a piece, and then it's like, like it's $30, and like I try to explain to my children, I'm like, all right, guys, listen, yes, you want this, but it's going to take dad or mom to work X amount of hours.
Oh wow,
to buy this for you, right?
Yep.
So I mean, I like to put a like a value on the money, right? I'm like, hey, yeah, you know how you don't like your mom going. Well, she has to, but she would have to work another 3 hours or 4 hours or this big thing that they want, right? So it's time versus money, sort of. Yes, it'd be
dude,
nice to
I
have
love that because I feel like that's like Chelsea and I agree on this thing that we think that like our kids in general are way smarter than we ever give them credit for. And so, like, I feel like that message that you're delivering is, like, advanced messaging. It's, like, it's high-level stuff to equate, like, what does it take to get the money? Like, generally, we would always hear growing up, like, money doesn't grow on trees. And it's like, well, yeah, I get that. That doesn't make any sense. But where does it come from? Like, that doesn't never really linked it to, oh, there's, like, effort. And it's, like, time away from family. Like you said, like, you don't like it when mom and dad have to go to work or whatever. Then they have to go longer if you want these things. I love that, man.
Yeah, so I mean, I just don't want kids to grow up like thinking that everything is just handed to them. I don't want to be. I mean, yes, we're not struggling for money, or we're not poor, but we're not rich. But I want you to know, like, when you get up and you go out on your own, like, hey, you have to start somewhere, and this is how you get to there. This is how you get nice things. Is you value your money. You make sure you don't go blow it. Yeah. Right. So
you guys done? Is 3 it? Is it absolutely not going to happen? 4th?
Yeah, that is. Yeah. So we've had some after issues with having my 3rd son.
Yeah.
So my wife has been going for like different surgeries and stuff like that after the baby. So she's going for her final one in July, and they're just going to take everything out. So.
Wow, man.
That's the. I mean, yes, we did. She had a C-section for the 3rd one.
Yep.
And then it was, okay, well, while you're in there, let's just tie it up.
Yeah.
And then, so it was already done. So, I mean, it's not like I don't have any children and this is happening.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be a lot sadder if that was happening. But now guess you're stuck with me. So
how are you doing with all of it? Because it's tough to watch your wife go through surgery and through just, I mean, especially if it's repeated, it's this ongoing thing. Like, how are you holding up?
Oh, I mean, like I said, it would be a lot more different if it was something SB did for kids.
Yeah, they're a rock.
Then it would be, okay, well, yes, it is heartbreaking, but I guess everything happens for a reason,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
maybe we're just supposed to have 2 kids or 3 kids or whatever. So that's not. Both of us we're at that point where we're like, all right, listen, I'm 32, she's 33, and it's like, well, you know what, I don't want to be having kids up until I'm 40, because there was a friend of mine I went to school with, and he was like, hey, do you want to come over and play the new Tony Hawk for Nintendo 64? I'm like, yeah, I love Tony Hawk on PlayStation, let's go play it. And I get there and I'm like, oh, that's cool, your mom's taking care of your grandpa. And he's like, no, that's my dad. I'm like, oh my god,
whoa,
I'm so sorry. I didn't know. Right,
that's
like, you
super
get there
awkward.
and it's like he looked like a grandpa. Like, he's super old, white hair, had like his blanket on his lap, sitting in a chair,
Mm-hmm.
watching NPR or whatever it was. But yeah, so I was like, I don't want to be that person,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, when it's like, oh, hey, is that your grandkid up there? No, this is my son.
No, just one generation.
Yep.
Holy crap, man.
But yeah, no, 3's good and everything's okay. Like, I mean, we're kind of used to the whole surgery thing. There's quite a few. When she was pregnant with my daughter, she was actually hit by a motorcycle.
What?
Yeah.
Like, while she was walking, or when she was driving, or like?
No, we were just standing talking to.
Come on.
And so somebody was just being stupid.
What happened?
It was a bike hit her in the leg, busted her leg open.
Oh my gosh!
So then it was rushed to the hospital, transported to another. Then she had to have rod and like pins and stuff put in her knee and in her ankle. So we're used to it. So it was, the third one came from, okay, well, I feel like I was kind of robbed of enjoyment of pregnancy.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, let's try for another one. Third one came, but
What happened to the dude on the motorcycle though? Tell me, do we sue in this country? I don't even know. Was that
yep.
was that a suing? Did you sue him?
Yep.
Is that where the amiibo collection comes from? Is that how you? That's where the Mega Yarn Yoshi? You're like, thank you.
No, nothing like that. But yeah, no, it was.
Oh my gosh, that's horrible, dude. Dude, we could chat all day. I want to talk to you about, there's not really a natural way to transition over to this, but I want to talk to you about like the rest of the year, man. Like, what are you, like, do you think, especially from a Nintendo or even Xbox perspective, like, is there anything that has you tickled right now, or that you feel is like missing and you hope happens, or like where are you for this year? Because right now, like, honestly, I'll give you a second to think about it. Right now, if like nothing else came out, I feel like there's so much I could just dive into. So like, while I'm excited for new things, I could have nothing come out, to be honest with you.
There's nothing right now that's really grabbing my attention for Nintendo. Like, I mean, I've played my 3DS more in the past week than I have my Switch.
Yes, Mario Golf. What's up, Donnie?
Yeah. So I've been playing Mario Golf,
Mm-hmm.
and I was playing that, and I got Smash for the 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been playing that.
That breaks my hands, man. I find it really hard to play.
Yeah.
It's just as much as
That's
I
I
actually like it there better, to be honest. Like, I like playing it on the go, but the controls for me, it's just like my hands cramp up a little bit.
So that's why I like the XL, because I had just the regular 3DS.
I got the new
XL.
3DS. I had the XL for the longest time. I went back just to the new because it's slick, but yeah, I think it's, to your point,
Yeah.
it'd be better.
So I had the 20th anniversary Pokemon edition with like the Charizard and Blastoise faceplates.
Mm-hmm.
New 3DS, and I got rid of that one, and I got the old XL. So I mean, I can't play my Super Nintendo games on the 3DS anymore.
Yeah. Oh man.
Which I have no idea why Nintendo does that. Why do like, is there? I mean, you can play these 3D games on the system. How can they not play Super Nintendo games?
It's not a processing thing. It can't be. It's
No.
this
well,
is
especially
because couldn't you? Did they give Super Nintendo games as part of the ambassador program? I feel like that's a thing. Like, if
I'm not sure. I came into the 3DS app. Like, I came in like way late.
Yeah.
To that. I was more on my Wii U, but I mean Donkey Kong. I played Donkey Kong for a bit this year. I'm not really like, oh, I need to finish this game. I already beat it on my Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
I got it. Funky Kong's okay. I mean, I don't really think it's worth the $70 I paid for the game. What are you gonna do? I did it because I'm weak, and I'm like, yeah, I got $70 on my eShop allowance currency. Let's go ahead and get it.
See, I had $20 and it just lined perfectly or nearly perfectly with the Mario Golf DLC.
Yeah,
and I know we're going there pretty soon. So
that's my
thanks,
next
Donnie.
step.
Mm-hmm.
That's my next step.
Can't believe
that deal? I need that gold Mario.
Yeah.
So, and then I think what I'm actually looking forward to this last part of the year is going to be State of Decay 2 on Tuesday.
Yes,
Tuesday.
Let's play it. Mm-hmm.
I'll be getting that, and then Red Dead.
Yeah,
hopefully that.
I'm getting more and more hyped about that, dude.
I know. I just like robbing a train. Like that's just. I'm like, oh my god! I'm gonna my friends. We're gonna go. We're gonna rob this train, and then we're just gonna send the train off a cliff. Like we're gonna blow up the bridge and send the train off the cliff and take all the money and laugh.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I don't.
It's Fast and Furious with freaking horses.
Yeah. Or just go ahead. You can ride your horses through, the open West. I mean, I'm kind of interested to see if there are actually like different groups of like Native Americans to fight in this, or is that I don't know if that'll be too PC to not have them in there.
Yeah, that's definitely the line that Rockstar walks. They're like, that'll upset some people, so we'll keep it out.
Dude,
we
can kill hookers, but
maybe. Yeah, right. Well,
maybe.
Yeah, I'm filtering so hard right now. It's not even funny, dude.
But I'm really looking forward to that.
Same here.
And I just signed up for the Ubisoft 2 beta, so I'm looking forward to that at the end of the month.
For the Crew 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, me too. Okay, sweet. Well, I'll play that too, and I'm hoping to review that one as well for We the Nerdy. And I feel like I was saying this to Dave. I'm excited about this because him and I really like Forza Horizons 3. I've been making fun of the Walmart Canada leak for so long. I'm like, what the hell? Forza Horizon 3 so much, but like everybody hears, there's a lot of people who just hear Forza and they just want to steer clear, but for some reason the Crew may be more inclusive. And it's coming out now, and maybe we can get people excited about it ahead of time. I think the Crew 2 looks awesome as long as they don't do all the microtransaction crap that they did with the first one.
So the Crew, does that handle more like a Need for Speed?
I'm sorry, you broke up just a quick second. I didn't catch it.
Is it like a Need for Speed style racing game, or is it a Forza Gran Turismo style?
It's closer to Horizon. It's closer to like, I guess, Need for Speed 2, like because it started to go open world as well. Okay. But it's like all of America. It's like cross country, but the difference with the Crew 2 is like you can have like planes and boats and cars. So like this thing is gonna be nuts, man. It looks crazy, and like I don't know, vehicles in Ubisoft games just keep getting better and better. I actually don't mind them in Far Cry. A lot of people make fun of it in Far Cry, but I'm stoked about it.
Yeah, still looking forward to that, but really there's nothing that I gotta run out day one.
Yeah, it's expensive to get stuff day one, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm starting like, and that's why I really like the Game Pass, because I'm like, all right, if like with Sea of Thieves, I was so excited for it, and then I played it, and I'm like, well, that was fun, but not really.
Glad I didn't spend 60 or $80 on that.
Well, exactly. Like, I mean, yeah, sure, it's nice to play it and check out the ocean and stuff. What really got me was, I was home one day and I couldn't sleep. I got home from work, brought everybody where they had to go, and I couldn't sleep. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna hook my Xbox up to my 4K TV upstairs.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I plug it in, and it's like, would you like to format to 4K? I'm like, yes, I would. Click that, and then all of a sudden I went and I played that, and I feel like I'm actually like, I feel like I'm gonna get sick.
Yeah, man.
Like it was so, I don't know how to explain it. Like it was so real. It was hurting my eyes.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you, man. Like the first time that we like set sail, because like you're anchored down and you're locked in, and you're walking around the boat like it's the floor, like you're walking around your house, and then you pull up the anchor, and then like the boat starts to give with the waves and stuff, and you're like, it's so natural and real. Like I'd never experienced that like release in a game before.
Yeah, like that really, it kind of like, it was like, Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
We can do this. And then you're like, oh, I just ran this stupid, and now I watch my ships sink, and this is stupid, and I got to get this merman to send me back.
Dude, every time I talk about it, I hype myself up about it, because like that is an experience that's like nothing else. Like, why don't I want to play this game? I need to. I don't know. I keep deleting it. It's a good thing I don't have like data caps on my internet, because I keep re-downloading.
That's how I am with Halo 5. I get Halo 5.
Oh snap! That's like 100 gigs, dude.
I know, and I only have like a 500 gig hard drive on my Xbox One S, so that's quite a big chunk of my hard drive I need to open up for that. Mm-hmm. So I'll download it and I'll play it and I have a good time with it, and then it's okay. Well, I want something else, so I have to delete this. So the next step is I'm going to get a 2 terabyte external hard drive. It's
a perfect size.
But yeah, no, I love Halo. It feels so good on the 5. I mean, I can get rid of the endless sprinting and the different like jump, pound the ground attack stuff. Forget that. Give me some old Halo with these new graphics, and I'd be okay.
Well, and Master Chief Collection is not on Game Pass right now. Is that?
No, I keep fighting myself for it online.
Yeah.
Want to pay that, or is it going to come? It's that dance where they keep talking about it might come to Game Pass.
It's coming. It's
coming
to Game Pass. And I'm sorry, the only reason I'm interrupting is just because you're cutting out just a little bit, so I'm going to let your internet catch up for a second and let you know that let me check in my other room. I'm pretty sure I still have it as a physical copy. So if we don't hear anything in the next like day or two, and if I can manage to get over to a post office, I'll just ship it over to you. And you just have it.
Oh, nice.
And then you can install all 6,000 gigs onto it.
Yeah,
it's a massive game. Nice. The intelligent install I think is going to be nice, because then you can have like pieces of it. You don't have to have the entire thing on your hard drive.
So now one of the updates they just did to it was the 4K.
It's coming. They were talking about that coming. 4K, HDR, all that other stuff. So yeah, the one thing I love about it is how the sniper rifle feels like it's in Halo. I remember before it needed skill to use it. Yeah.
And then now it just feels like you just pull the trigger and like there's no skill gap with it anymore.
Do you think that's good or bad?
I mean, for people who are just like casual players, I feel like it's good for them. But for me, so one of my favorite modes, Halo 3, Halo Reach, was we'd call it the Octagon, and then we'd get all 8 of us into this map, and then we would just play no scope.
Nice.
And then that would go okay for a while until somebody got no scope too many times, and they just start running around like meleeing other players. And then it would just society would just break down, and it just
exactly.
Fist fight.
I love how, I don't know if I've seen it in anything, maybe a little bit of Call of Duty, but I love like the rules that players make up for themselves, where like you could easily break it. Like the game would allow you to do it, but like you do the whole like no scope or melee only or stuff like that. Like you could easily go grab a gun and start shooting, or you start with a pistol, you can start shooting. But those are some of the funnest matches where you're like, okay, here are the rules, everybody, nobody break them, and just people like follow the rules, and it's just, I don't know, it kind of blows my mind because we're not built like that.
I find it more funny what happens after the system breaks down, and then just to see what people do.
Yep, and you can just like watch your timer, just like how long is this gonna last for? Okay, 3.5 minutes. All right, that was pretty good.
Yeah,
that's pretty funny, dude. Before we close things out, I do a bad thing where we end up the conversation and we stop recording, and then people are like, "Oh man, I wanted to bring this up." Is there anything that's been on your mind that you wanted to chat about today? Did you have any questions? I just kind of open the floor for like, what's been on your mind, Joel? Put you on the spot like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Nothing really has been on my mind.
I'm glad. I didn't want you to have that like, and you'll think about it like right after we're done.
Yeah.
But yeah. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat today, dude. This has been so great to just kind of go back in time and get to know one another a little bit here. Why don't you let everybody know where they can find you on the internet? We talked about Quest for Pixels, but everything else, dude, why don't you let everybody know to connect with you if this is the first time they're hearing of you?
Okay, yeah. So you can find me over at questforpixels.com. I have a bunch of different game reviews, kind of basic general news of the day, sort of stories or any updates for different consoles. You can find me on Twitter, and I believe it is at Joel, aka Falcon. On Twitter and also on Instagram. So if you want to keep up to date with whatever's going on, sometimes you get pictures of games. Yesterday I posted pictures of my lilac tree that's starting to bloom, so you'll get a whole variety of that's going on.
I really thought you were making a Star Fox reference there, actually.
No?
The lilac system, lilac tree. And
Oh,
I
yeah,
thought it was
no,
pretty close.
yeah. No, go check it out. I took a picture, and I was pretty... It's turned out awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, iPhone 8 camera.
Oh man, I need to. I that's a whole other thing. I want to get an actual camera. I used to take so many more pictures. Chelsea and I we connected first on our love for photography, and then she just kind of just took it to the next level. And I'm like, okay, you got that. But now I'm kind of like, I wish I would take more pictures.
Well, there's this new camera that's coming out, and it actually looks like a cell phone.
Yep.
It's the same. It's like the same shape of the iPhone and stuff. So I'm like, maybe.
I know. I just need something a little bit better than what iPhone can offer.
Yeah.
But I want to take this time to thank you, man, for supporting us on Patreon, for like almost, or maybe even from the beginning. I can't even remember off the top of my head. You've been there from like the start, man. So thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah. No. I just felt like I give back because it's everything I do on the internet has somebody in the Make Us Better community, right? So
I really appreciate that, dude. Well,
least I can do.
before our internet completely craps out on us, I'll just say thank you so much for taking time today, dude. This was awesome.
Awesome. Thanks.
I hope you guys can handle all the Canadiana. So much Canada in this episode. Thank you, Joel Brooks. Ontario, Alberta's smashing together for greatness. And my camera's all weirding out and everything. Guys, next week I'm going to be back live. I probably have some news, maybe some stories. Maybe I played some games. I hope you guys are playing lots of games. I hope Joel's playing lots of games. And actually, the best way to get a hold of me is on Twitter. And that's how you'll get the updates, at Sean Capri. But before you follow there, definitely go over follow Joel Brooks, twitter.com/Joel, aka Falcon. And thank you to Tony Baker for the amazing thumbnail for this week's episode, dude. Joel's telling me the stories of the Falcon and the face in it. Like, check it out. And there's more where that came from. I don't know if I'm allowed to share that, but I've got a whole collection. I might maybe I'll send them over to Josh Stapleton so he can make me some new coasters with Joel's face superimposed on falcons and birds and whatnot. That's awesome stuff. Guys, thank you so much for listening and subscribing at youtube.com/WeTheNerdy. Follow me on Twitter. I said that already. Follow We The Nerdy, the website. Oh, damn it. Last week I didn't say it. I have a State of Decay review. Oh, it's so late now. That's so embarrassing. Oh, man. Well, you can Google it, I guess. If you're curious, you probably know. You know what? Whatever. I'll just tell you. It's 7. I gave it a 7. It's buggy as shit, but it's awesome. I love playing it. I thought that I was done with it, and then by the time you're hearing it, like 2 weeks ago, I played with John Wall, and gosh, it was so good. It was so good. Support us on Patreon if you want. Patreon.com/makeusbetter. I'm just kidding. I really appreciate everybody who does go over there and to even just take the time. If you already have a PayPal, it's even easier for you. But for everybody who made a PayPal and they set up their Patreon and everything like that, thank you guys so much. It really does make a huge, huge difference. Maybe getting into PC gaming here. Maybe get a PlayStation Pro. Maybe buy Lincoln something. Who knows? I don't know what's gonna happen. Are you guys good? I'm good. Thanks to Gary Gray, Adam Leonard, drawing the stuff. Thank you to Antonio Guillen for animating the stuff. Dave for hosting the stuff. Otherwise, this is episode 152 of We the GamerCast. Now in your ears and eyeballs, I'll be back next week live, sort of, but like more up to date than this was. So I hope you're there too. Hope you enjoyed this nonsense. Of course, now it's time for Jason. Jason, bring on the freaking Jason. Bye.
Jason! 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 Sean! 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 Sean, where are you? Jason! 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 Sean! 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 Jason! 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 Jason!